Hi everyone, and welcome to the video lecture on Step 3, Making the Plots. This is the third part, obviously, after skimming and histograms, so you should have already completed those. And I'll show you my output. So if you look in Home Awesome Workshop Histograms, you should see all these files. If you don't, just go back and rerun the code from the histogram step. And as a reminder, I'm running this on a CVMFS mounted machine similar to LX Plus. So in this step, the most important thing to know about the plotting step is that we are doing a data-driven background estimation in this step. So we are going to keep on the lookout for things relevant to that as we move on, but this is where the difference between the signal and the control region really comes into play. So we see a couple lines of bash script that we need to run. So I'm going to run the first line just to make a new directory. And then before I run the plotting script itself, I'm going to unpack it. And it turns out that there's not a lot to see here. It's basically just redirecting you to plot.py. So let's look at that. So this file has a lot going on. Most of it is cosmetics. Most of it is how we get the plot in our web browser on the left here to look like this. So if you look at this plot and think, wow, that's really pretty, and I wouldn't know how to make a plot that looks that nice in root, and maybe in particular, I wouldn't know how to make 50 of these plots for all of our variables in a way that was really concise and easy, then you should read this plot.py file in detail. But for this lecture, I'm going to skim over all of the cosmetics of plotting, and I'm going to focus on the nuts and bolts of the QCD background estimation, which is the important part. So as always, I'm going to scroll down looking for a main method. And as usual, we see that the Pythonic magic main method is basically redirected to this user-defined main method. So let's look for that method. And let's start by reading this high-level comment that the major part of the code, again, is for the nice-looking plots. But the interesting part is the combination of histograms for the QCD estimation. And we're taking data histogram from control region and subtracting the known processes defined in simulation and calling the rest QCD. So the shape is extrapolated into the signal region with a scale factor. So that's what we're going to be on the lookout for. Let's look for the code that actually executes that step. We need to scroll by all of this stylistic code. And we see we're getting histograms. We see some of our familiar friends, GGH, QQH, which is our VBF or vector boson fusion, all the W-related and Z-related processes, and then data. So this is just gathering our histograms that we've already created between simulation and data here. Then we see some lines for the QCD data-driven estimation. On these first two lines, or first three lines, we add together the two data runs. Then, here in the middle, we are going to be subtracting off the simulation in the control region. So for all of these, you see the important thing is this suffix _CR that we've seen before. So that's how you know that in particular all of these things are being done on the control region and not on the signal region, because you can't do data-driven methods in your signal region. So then we're going to apply that scale factor for extrapolating between the two. And finally, we're going to be drawing histograms. So most of this is cosmetic. You see some things pop up like the scale factor for GGH. You see, oh, GGH to H, or GGH and QQ to H are both scaled up. in that histogram, for instance. But like I said, most of this is cosmetic, and I'm going to let you guys dig into that on your own and ping us if you have any questions during the workshop. So now that we've unpacked it, this is all we have for the plotting step. We've understood the QCD background estimation. So let's run the code. All right, and the code has run. So the web browser tells us that we're going to get a PNG and PDF image file. So I'm going to cd into home awesome workshop plots. And you should see output like this. The first file, the first plot shown here in the web browser is the visible die tau mass. So that's what I'm going to look at. And you can see that this looks exactly like what we saw in the web browser. The two are identical. And just for fun, let's also look at the tau eta. And again, this is what we see in the web browser. It looks like I may be plotting the wrong one, so let's run it again, eta 2. Yeah, okay, so this is the right one. This is plotting the tau eta. So that's it. We've seen agreement with the web browser and our output, and we've done the background estimation. So that concludes this video, and I'll see you in the next one.